Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the difference between arc faults and GFIs. A lot of people get them confused as to what they are and how they work. So yeah, we're going to go through that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the videos, or you can come right over to the website. We'll put a link in the description down below. And also, we want to see your comments on this one as to whether arc faults are code in your area, and whether you need to have them installed or not, and whether you think they're a nuisance or not. So firstly, let's talk about GFIs. GFIs, everybody thinks they're the little one with the reset button. They have the reset and the test. What a GFI, or GFCI, which stands for a ground fault circuit interrupter, does is it detects any leakage or variance in the circuit from neutral to ground. So basically, if there's a difference between the internal workings of the circuit, like from hot to neutral, and it leaks out to ground, the GFI is supposed to pick that up and trip. So basically, anything over 5 milliamps, that will cause a trip. So those cause obvious nuisance tripping. Moisture causes them to trip. Sometimes they just trip on their own. They're a pain in the butt by times. So you'll see the GFIs on people's counters. You'll see them in people's bathrooms. A lot of times you'll see them in outside receptacles. We're now trying to get away from putting them on outside receptacles because they just don't like moisture. So within 6 months, we're going back to change them again just because they stop working. So those are one kind. I don't have any here with me today, but basically everybody knows what they look like. They just got the test and the reset. So what we're getting away from is now we're putting in GFCI breakers. So this is an older one. This is rated for 240, but you can get them in single pole as well. That, for example, we would come out of the panel and we do 5 or 6 outside plugs, and they'd be off the GFCI breaker. So this saves several things. It saves you from going outside to try to reset the GFI, because you can just go in the basement and reset it where your panel is. And it also saves the moisture issue because then you have the breaker inside. So what these do is they would bolt onto the panel in this specific case. Some of them clip in. They're all a little bit different depending on brand. They pop on like a normal breaker. And then this test button is how you test it. And if it trips, it's going to go to the halfway position, which is going to make it spongy, what we call it. So if it trips, you can't just push back up on it and reset it. You usually have to go all the way off and then all the way back on. Now, my light just turned out. Wonder what's up with that. Maybe the battery's dead? Could be. Anyway, who cares? This is the white wire, the neutral wire. This actually hooks on to the neutral bus inside of the panel. And then the neutral of the circuit would go on to the GFCI. So that's one type. We install these on hot tubs. We install these on outside plugs. Anything to do with outside or radiator moisture, we usually put these in. So now the other one is an arc fault. So what an arc fault is, and this come out in our code, it started coming out in our 2014 code, but it really started getting into play in our 2018 code. Now this is 2021. Our next code is coming up next year. And each code, they're pushing more of these arc faults on us. So when we first started, they said you only needed arc faults in the bedroom. Now they're saying you need arc faults on any plug circuit, with the exception of the counters. And in our next code, I assume think you're going to see them on the lights as well. The bad part about this is you have a regular breaker. Grab one here. It's about $8. And then you have an arc fault breaker, same thing, 15 amp, which is about $80. So you have to start slapping these bad boys in your panel. All of a sudden, your wiring job becomes very expensive. So, there we go. This looks like a GFI. It is not a GFI. What it does is it hooks onto the neutral bar, the neutral from the arc fault circuit, like the bedroom plugs, go onto the bottom here. And then it resets exactly like a GFCI. So an arc fault, to explain an arc fault, what an arc fault does, it does exactly what it sounds like it does. It stops the arc. and you're thinking, what's an arc? The best way to describe it, because everybody will understand this, is you remember those old plug-in kettles that you had in your kitchen where you heat up your water for your tea or your coffee, and you pull that out of the wall and you'd see that blue spark or arc? It eliminates that. So why they want to eliminate that is because it causes the outlet to wear out quicker, it causes black around the outlet, and it can cause a fire. So they started, with the exception of the kitchen counter plugs. We don't have to put these on kitchen counter plugs, but they started with these in bedrooms for people that would plug in things that would have an arc, which is great. But now we're on to every circuit, almost every plug circuit in the house. So things that would cause an arc would be stuff that you would pull out of the wall before shutting off. So for example, a lamp, if you forget to shut it off and you just pull it out of the wall, you're going to get that blue spark. It's going to trip the arc fault. A vacuum cleaner, which is the big one. If you're just going along vacuuming and you pull it out of the wall, boom, it's going to trip the arc if you don't shut the vacuum cleaner off. And sometimes they trip anyway. Now, how do you tell a customer that their $800 Dyson vacuum is no good because the arc fault won't pass because of what they're plugging in to get the inspection? I mean, you don't. That's why I think they're a good thing, but they're also bogus. So that's why I want you to comment down below, like, are you having problems with these things? Because we get nuisance calls all the time. We go there on the service call, we charge the customer a service call, only to find out that it's their vacuum cleaner causing the issue, or it's their old lamp causing the issue. And then the customer gets upset. Well, why can't I have this? Well, because it's on an arc fault. Well, why do I have to have an arc fault? Well, because it's code. So tell me in the comments below whether this is in your area, if it's code in your area, or if you think it's bullshit. Plain and simple. The code, we have to install them. So that is the difference between an arc fault and a GFI. A GFI detects leakage to ground. The arc fault detects the arc. So how it detects the arc is when something's plugged in, it closes the circuit. The power is going through the circuit, to put it in layman's terms. It pulls a certain amount of amperage to operate that appliance or device. When you pull on it, it senses the difference when it's pulled and causes the arc fault to trip. It's just like instantaneous. It senses that variance in the circuit, that the circuit's not doing what it's supposed to, so it causes the arc fault to trip, which causes nuisance tripping. That's probably the easiest, least technical way to explain it. So yeah, that's the situation we're in. I want to know your thoughts on what you think about arc faults and if they're code in your area and if you got to have them, because we're in Canada and it's code here in Canada, but you know, people are in different parts of the world. So again, like and subscribe to the video. I'll leave a link over to our website in the bottom of the description down below. And you guys can come over there and see our recommended products, show what our arc faults are all about and what we recommend. That's great. That's all for now, and we'll see you on the next video. And guys, don't forget to check out our other videos. The more watch time we get on YouTube, obviously, the better it is for advertising, and the more it helps this channel. Thanks, and bye for now.